Hey, welcome to the party. You found the Mouse Castle Lounge, your home for cocktails and conversations from the worlds of Disney and beyond. Visit us at themousecastle.com. Follow us at Mouse Castle Show on Twitter and the Mouse Castle on Facebook and Instagram. Your table is waiting, and drinks are now being served. Don't be shy. Come on in. Let's get to it. Here are your hosts, the keepers of the Mouse Castle Lounge, Tim Calloway and Anthony Reynolds.
Welcome to the Mouse Castle Lounge. I'm Tim Calloway.
And I'm Anthony Reynolds. It is August 11th, 2021.
We are your dose of Disney news, information, and commentary. And what do we have coming up today, Anthony?
Well, bad news for Andrew Cuomo I'm sorry. Well, we're going to be talking about the Jungle Cruise, talk a little bit about Magic Keys and all that. Also, Scarlett Johansson and Disney are fighting over Black Widow. All that and more in the Mouse Castle Lounge.
So, I finally saw Jungle Cruise over the weekend.
I think I technically saw it. It was...
From what you remember, you saw it?
I mean,
From what you've tried to block out of your memory, you saw it?
I watched it, and let's just say straight up, if you haven't seen it yet, we're going spoilers. We're just going to talk about
spoilers.
This. Yeah.
Yes.
We're not going to do a deep dive on it by any means, but yeah. So my boyfriend was telling me, was talking about the movie, and I'm just like, now when that happened? When did that happen? And then he was talking about the snake guy, and I'm like, okay, so which one? When did the snake guy come in? And he's like, that was the main guy. That was the guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember Honeycomb Man. I don't remember. There was a snake guy too.
Yeah, there are snake guys. There was. I think there's more than one snake guy.
Okay, so we got to go back. Okay, so I watched it.
I remember the honeybee guy.
Yes,
and I'm pretty sure all of them were taken from the Pirates of the Caribbean series of movies.
They probably had these characters. I mean, honestly, these people had to have been developed, and they just didn't use them, and they just throw them into this thing.
Jungle Cruise definitely could have used a hammerhead shark guy.
Yeah. So there was Snake Guy, there was Honeycomb Man, and then there was one other one though. What the hell? Honestly, I watched this movie again. Well, most of it. I got about a half hour left on my second rewatch, and I know there's a third guy. I don't remember what he is though. This is how forgettable this movie is. What the hell?
Yes. Okay. And maybe we should go with that. What did you think of it? I was disappointed, and I will say that there were parts of the movie that just kind of made me angry, because Jungle Cruise goes out of its way to rip off every better movie franchise out there.
The Caribbean,
it's
The Mummy,
Indiana Jones, Romancing the Stone, for that matter, and it just. I mean, I wouldn't mind it so much if the movie was better executed. I mean, there was problems I had with it with pacing and with some of the editing and the action scenes where they go back between like this intense this very like threatening moment when one of the snake bee, I don't know, hammerhead creatures is about to attack, and then we get Emily Blunt or Dwayne Johnson just kind of tiptoeing across a branch or something.
And then we open the movie with Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, and then there's this random heavy metal guitar in the middle. Like, what the hell is going on with the music in this thing?
Okay.
And it was Metallica.
Saw it in the theater. Now, you saw it in the theater or you saw it on Disney Plus?
I saw it at home.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. if I'm answering technically.
Okay. Fair enough. We saw it in the theater, and I wasn't sure whether this was just how the sound was set up at the theater I went to. It was a Regal Cinema, or whether it was just mixed that way. But there were moments in the movie where the music was so loud and intrusive. It wasn't setting a mood. It was just overkill.
Yeah, no, that was the movie.
So over the top.
That was definitely the movie.
Okay.
I gained a lot with subtitles, which is like my default way to watch movies anyway.
Yes.
I mean, my whole thing was I was on board with it. Like at the beginning, I didn't hate it. I think the movie would have done a lot better had they not gone the whole curse route with it. Like have
Yes.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, whatever, be an Indiana Jones type kind of person, who's just a normal guy who's doing normal adventures. I didn't need any of this CGI that already looks more dated than Curse of the Black Pearl, which came out 18 years ago.
Yes. Well, I think we've come full circle because Dwayne Johnson was in one of the worst CG animations ever, and that's when he was
The Scorpion King.
The original, the Scorpion King in the second Mummy.
That was bad.
And which was just god awful. And now he gets to do a movie where it wasn't that the CG was bad. It was just, there's just too much of it. And
and there were, to their credit, there were a lot of physical sets to it. But you could tell exactly when they panned out too far. Okay, well, that's where the blue screen starts, because like everything felt so fake, and it's so over and done with. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, and I see it felt more like, and I complained. I've complained about this about Disney movies in the past. I complained about it with Frozen. I complained about it with the fourth installment of Pirates of the Caribbean, where it felt more like product than movie making.
Yeah.
And there was, I could just see them just checking off the boxes of what they were trying to get, what they're trying to get in the movie. And the other thing that annoyed me about Jungle Cruise, and I am all for, inclusivity and being, diverse in your cast and crew and all that. But when you were watching the movie, did you feel that Disney was congratulating itself constantly for how inclusive it was trying to make Jungle Cruise?
Yeah, I guess a little bit. Again, we had another instance of a gay character who's not gay.
Yes. Or
and I'm really getting tired of that.
I know what you're saying. And it isn't just that he's a gay character, but we're going to go out of our way for him to describe to you that he's a gay character, rather than just letting him be a gay character and let that be an organic part of the story. It's like, no, he has to sit down and do a coming out, if you will, with Dwayne Johnson's character.
Without ever saying it.
It does, like they're trying too hard.
Yeah, and they're trying so hard, but they like I said, they don't finish it.
True.
They don't let him say, it's not a thing that comes up. And you know what? It's easily cut when the movie goes to China.
Yes. Well, yeah, there's that too. Good point.
I'm
the
so
other thing
tired
too
of Disney.
Is it's the same thing about the big reveal of Trader Sam. And spoiler, Trader Sam is a woman. We're going to do a little, we're going to be a little sneaky here, and we're going to do this. We're going to keep Trader Sam's identity hidden until this big reveal in, the one scene in the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And again, I'm thinking, just make Trader Sam a woman. You don't need to do the big reveal. Why?
Yeah, it's also kind of getting a little bit muddy, because it's so weird that this movie is coming out around the same time that they're redoing the Jungle Cruise. But they're not, and I'm not saying I want them to make the Jungle Cruise more like the movie by any means.
Oh, please God, no.
But it's like, because now we have this Trader Sam, but I think the Trader Sam is still the character that he is, so it muddies the water a bit in the river.
It does. The one thing I did really like in the movie, and this came fairly early on in it, and it was a total Disney nerd moment. And I think a lot of Disney fans probably didn't even catch it. There is a reference to a classic scene from Disney's True Life Adventures, the original ones from back in the 50s and 60s.
Was it the scene where they were kicking a bunch of lemmings off a cliff?
No. It was the scene with the tarantula and the scorpion fighting each other. I saw that's one of the, and I can't remember which True Life Adventure is from, but that was a very well-known scene if you're fans of the True Life Adventures. And since Adventureland and Jungle Cruise were actually, Disneyland's spin on True Life Adventures, I thought that's a really, that's kind of that's just a really nerdy Easter egg that not a lot of people would get. And I got a kick out of it. And it's like, okay, yes, more of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, the references and stuff I thought were really cool. I mean, obviously you had to have the backside of water and a bunch of the other jokes in there. And those were, you had to have those in there. It was fine.
Yes.
Like I said, my biggest issue with it was just, we don't need to go down the curse route again. It's they had such a good thing going, and then suddenly I'm 400 years old. It's like, oh,
yes,
Jesus.
oh, I know.
And then,
yeah, I mean, and I will admit it was a good twist in the story. Didn't see it coming. It's probably the only part of the movie that I didn't see coming because the ending was very predictable. I will say I still love Emily Blunt, and even in movies that aren't very good, she makes them better. I loved everything about her and what she did.
But going back to The Rock, though. Okay. So I like to go on to the Reddit, like the movie subreddit, and read like the discussions that they have about it. And there was one user who's like, I need to go on a rant about The Rock's accent. He's from Spain hundreds of years ago, and he can't leave Brazil. He's never been to the United States. But even if he somehow had, it would have been 200 plus years before it was the United States, and people didn't have that accent then.
They all speak English remarkably well, don't they? But the guys that are the snake guy and the honeybee guy that have been trapped in the cave,
and the other one,
none of them speak English.
Why can't I think about what this other guy is? Was he just a mud man? Was that his thing?
I don't know. Was it that, or was he like plants or something? And see, and this, okay, again, you kind of touched on it. This is kind of an example of the effect this movie had on us. It's like, I can't honestly recall what all the different CGI characters were, and I truly don't care.
Yeah, none of them were, we didn't have a Jeffrey Rush as Barbossa or a Bill Nighy,
No.
And that's sad that we're comparing it like it's a sequel to Pirates of the Caribbean.
And,
like,
it very much is. It's what was it? I was drawing a blank earlier. I said the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Stranger Tides.
On Stranger Tides. There you go. That one I have never seen in its entirety without falling asleep.
I saw it once in theaters, and then I saw it half a time, and then I think I powered through it once on my phone. But what's really sad is that I actually thought Dead Men Tell No Tales was a better movie.
It was, I
enjoyed it better.
I actually put Dead Men Tell No Tales as the second best Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Wow. I
love that one. And it's like, you guys got it. You kind of got, back in the same mindset and the same vibe that you got from Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, I mean, the second and third one, though, I thought they're underrated, and I think a lot of people still will rank them 2 and 3, but I like them. I like that story. We got Davy Jones, which is like a perfect character.
Bill Nighy, thank you. Yeah.
Bill Nighy. Oh, God, I love that character. And that looks still so good. To this day, Davy Jones looks so good.
Yeah, he does. And the thing I liked about it is that even Gore Verbinski and Johnny Depp admitted that they could not keep track of all the plot twists that had been put in. I think they were referring to Dead Man's Chest and not at World's End. I remember it was like an interview in Entertainment Weekly. They were talking about it when At World's End was coming out, and they both kind of admitted, yeah, we really didn't get all the twists in Dead Man's Chest. But the great thing about those two movies is it didn't matter because they were so full of energy, and it's like, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, and we're just doing this, and we're just throwing as much craziness as we can into it. And there's this great energy in those two movies. There's a lot of it that doesn't make any sense, and there's too many plot twists. And if you take time to actually think about it, you'll just get lost or just give up. But there's so much energy to it that On Stranger Tides didn't have. That it makes the second and third films I thoroughly enjoyed them, but I still think Dead Men Tell No Tales is better than both of those. I still rank it as my number two.
I remember back when
Pirates films.
I remember back when I was like really like into like I bought I haven't bought a DVD or a Blu-ray in forever, but back when those movies first came out on DVD, I mean I was down to, I listened to commentaries and everything, and I haven't done that in years. But I always found the most interesting commentaries on those Pirates movies were the screenwriters. And to hear them explain a lot of it, you're like, oh, okay. Then you had a new appreciation for it, even though I think one of them got really Trumpy. But but at the time, it was very, very interesting stuff. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I didn't spend money to go to this in theaters, though.
Well, yeah, and I think that's where Jungle Cruise kind of missed the mark. It's obviously borrowing a lot from the Pirates movies and The Mummy and Indiana Jones, but it's really lacking the energy and the pacing and the editing to really pull it off.
And the soundtrack, Hans Zimmer,
and the soundtrack. Oh my God. And this is probably not going to be a popular opinion with people, but Dwayne Johnson actually annoyed me as a Jungle Cruise skipper. I know you liked him, but I thought just don't see you pulling this off.
And I think I touched on another episode. I just kind of have the Rock fatigue. I'm like, it's doesn't got to be in everything. It's like, I feel like he's like Imagine Dragons, where I would like them a lot more if they took like 3 years off. But like, dude, you don't need to have a new single every goddamn week. Like, just chill.
Yeah.
God, just take a nap. It's too much.
What this movie needed was Aquafina. That was it.
Yeah, well, and then we're getting into Jumanji territory, which
I know. That's what I was just thinking of. It's like let's see what character, what actor did.
Tell you what, replace The Rock and Jungle Cruise with Danny DeVito. Oh God,
or Danny Glover, either
Holy
one.
Shit, Danny DeVito as a jungle skipper. He gets to the hippo pool. So anyway, I start blasting.
Now, did you like the Jumanji movies? The newer ones?
Yeah,
I did.
I like them. I'm trying to think if I have anything wrong to say about it. I don't think the second one was as good, but it was still really good.
I thought it was really entertaining. And the thing I always liked about those movies is they totally understood the absurdity of video game storylines.
Yep.
And that's what I got the biggest kick about. It's like this was a movie written and directed by people that deemed out inside are video game nerds. Yeah. You have to be.
Oh yeah, they were really fun. I think, and they kept it a little bit fresh, bringing in Danny DeVito, Danny Glover into the whole thing with the second one, because otherwise it'd be like, okay, yeah, we've been here before.
Yes, yeah, it added a new thing, and Aquafina, and I just love her. So
plus, it was kind of cool seeing Kevin Hart play Danny Glover, because it was just kind of cool seeing Kevin Hart play something instead of himself. And
he did a really good job of it.
So.
Dwayne Johnson less so doing Danny DeVito, but he gave it a good shot.
That was awkward. I did not like that. Aquafina though, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, I could not. I could have. Well, hey, at least he put more work into that accent than he did Jungle Cruise. So.
Very true. See, and I didn't even know he was doing an accent.
Well, with his Danny DeVito thing, it was Yeah,
he should have done a Danny DeVito in Jungle Cruise. It would have made it a better movie.
Something interesting to watch at least.
So, Disneyland is doing weird things with annual passes now.
I don't think annual passes exist anymore.
Well, that's what we're calling them. Yeah.
Well, they retired the legacy annual pass holder Twitter account. That's no longer what they say monitored or whatever. But yeah. So anyway, this is like last week they announced it. I mean, so we're not gonna break any news here, but so their annual pass program, we know, famously went away when the park shut down. And this was always kind of talked about. Like there were like little hints that something was coming soon. Like there was like a timeline or expiration on some of the Legacy Pass holder merchandise and stuff. But Disneyland has announced their Magic Key program.
Ooh, which is also a throwback for those of us old timers that remember the Magic Kingdom Club and Magic Key tickets. So I see what they did there.
Disney's really big on keys. Like I don't understand this whole like the Disney store. They have keys, and I don't understand what the keys are all about.
They should have had the Black Keys do the soundtrack for Jungle Cruise.
Would have been better than Metallica. So they have different keys, levels, whatever. So back in the annual pass holder program, it was what they had Premier and Deluxe and SoCal Pass. Am I missing one?
Yeah, and then they had the super mega premium one that was good at Disneyland and Walt Disney World.
Yes. I can't remember what that one is.
Platinum
and of course
nuclear
inside
or something like that.
And the top one had different levels of parking and yada yada yada. So this one, the top one is the Dream Key, and it's $1,400, $102 a month if you're a California resident. Now they're doubling down and they're committed to this reservation system, because I think the biggest problem with the last program was that you'd get the people who would, the locals, and no offense if you are one, but you know who you are, who would just after work be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go there for a couple hours. And, they weren't spending any money. They weren't doing anything. They were just showing up, and the parks were just busy with these people. They had nothing else to do. Let's go in. And so they've gotten rid of that freedom, and now you have to make reservations. And each key has different levels of reservation. The Dream Key and the one below it, the Believe Key, they each get 6 reservation holds at a time, so you can hold those reservations. The Enchant Key is probably the one that I would have gone with. It's 4, and that one is $649. And then the Imagine Key is for SoCal residents only, and it's only 2 at a time. Now, back when I was a pass holder for 2-3 glorious years, I honestly hit it. Like 2015 to 2018 was like perfect pass holder time. I'm so glad I got in there.
Same.
Oh my God. Because I think they had like the Indy 25 or 20 event, and that was back when they actually still did events for pass holders. But this would have been terrible for me, this whole thing, because I would go, because I work for an airline, and so I was in Phoenix at the time, and so I would, see, oh, the flights look good. Oh yeah, I can go this day. I didn't make reservations. All my plans were made like 24 to 48 hours in advance. So this reservation system would do me no good.
No. Now, is the anticipation that unless you are using your annual pass to book to book your reservation in advance, don't expect to be able to make a last minute reservation?
I think it all depends on. I mean, we're gonna see how this unfolds here, because the tickets start getting purchased, I think, or they're active on the 25th. So we're gonna see how it goes.
One of the things that is happening, a friend on Facebook posted it just a few days ago. Probably, the quiet before the storm is the fact that the park right now not that busy.
I know. I'm really.
They were talking like every ride in the park was 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, and I'm hoping. I wish I could have gone, because if I would have known that, I would have budgeted it. But I don't have it in my budget right now to go, because I'd be down there. But yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. They definitely do have a lot more control with it. But we're going to see, because it's kind of getting to where I am with Florida, for instance, with Disney World, is I don't like things to be overly planned, I like to have a plan going in, but, I don't want to be, it depends on how much freedom you have, but like 6 reservations at a time, that's a lot of freedom, I guess. Even 4 is a good amount of freedom. But it's like with Disney World, I don't want to pick where I want to eat 90 days ahead of time. I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. But overall, though, if they're going the reservation route, I can see that this is a good plan. I don't really. It's not that bad, I guess.
And that this is how the plan looks right now.
Yeah,
it's going to change, because it always changes, and something is going to work really good, something is going to backfire. This is just the nature of if you take a look at at how annual passes have changed over decades now. They're constantly adjusting, the terms and conditions and when you can get them and things like that. And so that whatever the program is now, it's going to change. It's going to change.
Yeah. Like we could see like down the line if they're not that busy, maybe they'll for the top tier tickets. I mean, if after 4 they might let you in, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And we can't call really jerky annual pass holders pass holes anymore. Now we call them keyholes.
Hey, that works.
I'd like to take credit for that, but I saw that on Twitter, so.
Keyholes. So yeah, I mean, it's not something that I'm probably ever going to get anymore unless I, move back out west. But yeah, it's good that the system's there again, that people can finally do it. Cause yeah, it really did need something to go on with. They needed to change something because it was getting ridiculously busy. Like I remember once when I was a pass holder, I was there and it was just wall to wall people. I mean, it was bad. And I remember talking to my dad on the phone and he's like, "Oh God, could you imagine this is your once in a lifetime trip to Disneyland and this is what you're dealing with? I'd be so pissed." And I'm like, "No, honestly, those are the people making the best out of it." Mm-hmm. Because it's a once in a lifetime. I'm just an entitled pass holder who's just complaining.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I recognize that.
I did reach a point where I remember once, and I had never done this on a Disneyland visit before. This is a few years ago, but kind of like in that peak period we're talking, that you were talking about of being an annual pass holder. I remember going into the park and just, I was planning to make a day of it. And it's like mid-afternoon, it's like, there's too many people here. I don't like it. This is not a magical experience for me. And I just left.
I did kind of that. I just rode the train for a few laps.
Yeah, I didn't even do that. I just had to leave because it was too many people, too many strollers, too many privileged annual pass holders such as myself.
I had that when a month or two ago when I was meeting my brother and his wife at Universal. So they only bought a 1-day ticket to Islands of Adventure, and I had my annual pass. So they left, and I'm like, I'm gonna go over to Universal for a while, the studios. And I mean, it was a busy, packed day, and I got there. I'm like, okay, Mummy is like an hour. This is 40 minutes. No. So I checked out the Jurassic World tribute store. I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I went to go find bar seating somewhere. I love having that freedom where you can just call it and be fine with it.
So, other movie news here. Mm-hmm. This is interesting. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney.
Yeah, I saw this.
And this is a story that's been kind of, it continues to develop. And it continues to be interesting because this could actually turn out to be something very groundbreaking for the studios, not just Disney, but for the movie studios in general, and for the top tier performers and creative, actors and creative people. Mm-hmm. It all comes down to Scarlett Johansson when she did Black Widow. And keeping in mind that Scarlett Johansson has a Johansson. I just tried to skim right over that. And
I'm always a fan of a spoonerism.
Scarlett Johansson, ScarJo, has a long history with Disney and Marvel, of course, in the MCU and all that. So we have a good business relationship between Scarlett Johansson and Disney. But when Black Widow was made and it was supposed to come out, was it originally 2019 and then it got bumped?
It had, I think, 3 bumps. Like it was like John Belushi at a bathroom.
But a bump.
Sorry.
I'm going to edit that one out. But anyway, the expectation was, pre-pandemic, of course, that this would get a big, splashy summer movie release. And, Scarlett Johansson and some of the, top tier creatives involved in the movie, had it in their contracts that they would get X amount of dollars plus a share of the gross or the profits, depending how the contract is. Well, when Disney finally got around to releasing the movie this year, they did so in theaters and on Disney Plus. The problem is now the movie is not making as much money at the box office, at theater box office, as would have been anticipated pre-pandemic. And so Scarlett Johansson ends up making a lot less money on this film. Now, she is suing Disney, saying that they misrepresented themselves, that they didn't, that they essentially cheated her out of money. And she was trying, her and her people were trying in good faith to work out, to negotiate with Disney to acknowledge that this is like, a new model, a new, way that the money was going to be generating income and then move forward. So what's interesting, I haven't seen Scarlett Johansson's contract.
Yeah.
So I don't know all the details. I don't know if she is, I don't know that this is truly, the case, that she is generally getting cheated out of something. And really that to me isn't even the most important part, or the part that I find most interesting. The part that I find most interesting is how Disney reacted to it.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, Disney has a reputation of hardly ever saying anything about any kind of legal issue, lawsuit, whatever. It's like they keep it quiet. They don't talk about it. But what they did is, when she sued.
Well, they came up. They said they were like hurt or disheartened.
Yeah,
or
they
something.
did. Okay. Here's what Disney said. This is what happened when she filed suit. And I'm quoting Fox Business here. They said Disney fired back that the suit lacked merit and called it, quote, especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh my God, Disney! Oh,
And that's a
poor
very-
corporation is sad.
That is a very un-Disney thing to say, too.
I know.
I cannot recall in any legal entanglement in recent memory where Disney has come out guns blazing saying, we're right, she's wrong, and we're going to fight this.
Like, Disney
And
has never been
especially-
publicly that bitchy.
Exactly. And especially with an actor that has been making movies for them successfully for over 10 years.
Yeah.
That to me was the biggest stunner out of all of this.
And I think
Now-
I heard Kevin Feige was even upset with how they're handling it. I don't know if there's anything true to that, but that's interesting.
I would not be surprised. One of the interesting things too, talking about big studios and streaming services, is Warner Brothers actually renegotiated with a lot of their talent their contracts because of this exact circumstance, because Warner Brothers has HBO Max.
Now, they are doing it a little bit differently, though, because if HBO Max is just, here it is. I mean, there's no extra money, but maybe Disney looks at it a little bit differently because they're charging $30 a pop.
Well, it's kind of interesting. With HBO Max, you get the first run movies if you have their upper tier monthly membership.
Oh.
If you have the, what is it? I think it's like $15 a month, and there's no commercials, no advertising. Then there's the other tier, the lower tier, that does have advertising. The lower tier cannot get the first run movies. Only the top tier can.
Oh, I did not know. I'm on an account of my own account, of course. I guess I never saw the other tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely using
But
my
yeah,
own
but
login.
there's two tiers, basically, one with advertising and one without.
Good to know. I'm spoiled.
And I'm going to just keep on going to get you out of trouble here.
Don't tell Metallica.
But so there is a revenue difference here. But Warner Brothers and HBO Max went back and renegotiated with their talent to kind of smooth this over. Of course, that came largely because Christopher Nolan raised such a big stink about when they released Tenet last year.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Which, by the way, did not make a whole lot of money. And I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it, and I can't recommend it. And I really like Christopher
If you've
Nolan.
never seen Tenet, please just watch it with subtitles because it'll make Christopher Nolan is amazing, but sound mixing, man, it's rough.
My problem was Tenet was an interesting movie to watch for the wizardry of it, for the weirdness of it, the odd storytelling. It starts at the beginning, at the end, and meets in the middle. That's all wonderful, but there wasn't a single character in the movie I cared about. So it's like, this is all meaningless to me.
Honeycomb Man.
There you go.
Ed Hardy,
yes, and snakes. There were lots of snakes. But so anyway, whereas Warner Brothers and HBO Max are trying to make things good with their talent, Disney Plus and Disney is not.
And apparently, who was it? I don't think there was another person who was talking about suing them.
Well, this could open the door. Hollywood insiders are keeping a real close eye on this one because if Scarlett Johansson wins this, it's going to open the door for a lot of other performers and Hollywood talent to get the same kind of deal. It could genuinely be a groundbreaking thing. Now, from what I have read, supposedly, in a contract dispute like this, it is in Scarlett Johansson's contract that whatever settlement comes out of this will happen through private arbitration.
No, it was Emma. It's not Emma Thompson. It's not Emma Watson. Emma Stone. Speaking of Stone,
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone was. There was rumors going around that she was kicking around the idea.
Oh, for Cruella. Yeah. Now, Disney. Oh, this is the other thing too. This is another part of that whole Disney being a bitch about the whole thing. Is they publicly said that Scarlett Johansson had already made $20 million from Black Widow. They never talk about salaries.
No.
So I mean, they're
kind of I don't know,
being really pissy about it.
Well, it's like also a part of me is just like, well, you made this agreement for it, but so that's kind of a gamble because you're not guaranteed any amount of money. It's just profit from the box office. So I guess he maybe lost the gamble. I don't know.
And again, I have not read the contract. I don't know if Scarlett Johansson has a leg to stand on here. I truly do not. But again, what I find more interesting than the legal entanglement is the high drama.
Well, I think Disney has a lot of money. No, hey, so I have something here. Are we ready to move on?
Go ahead, move on.
Oh, okay. Because there's one thing that we didn't talk about before, but I feel like we need to speak about it. They have released the prices for the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel.
Oh yes, yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Where you're paying thousands of dollars for Walt Disney World to basically kidnap you for 2 days.
In a windowless room. So you can here's the prices they got for it. So 2 guests per cabin, $4,800. So you're paying about $1,200 per person. 3 guests per cabin, $889 for $5,300. And then $6,000 for 4 guests for a 2-night stay. It's ridiculous. And then I don't know, did you see
But it's so immersive because what happens is someone cuts off your hand.
Yeah, absolutely. They also have that at Aladdin Land.
Yes, but don't ask for the Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader upgrade. You don't want that.
Not a lot of breathing room. Now, they did have I don't know if you saw this, they on the Disney World website, they have a sample itinerary of what you can expect. And it breaks it down all by day. So let's go through it. Day 1, at 1 o'clock, you arrive at the terminal. You have a launch pod to the Star Cruiser from 1:15 to 1:30. Ship orientation from 1:45 to 2:15, followed by light refreshments.
Do they give you like a lifeboat, safety thing like they do on cruise ships?
I'm guessing they do. They would have to. There's light refreshments. You get sabak lessons. I don't know what muster is, but you get muster. You get a captain's reception, a dinner featuring live music, the Outer Rim regalia, and then they have a scheduled unexpected story moment.
A scheduled unexpected story.
Yes, so you will prove your
where
mettle.
someone comes out with a lightsaber and cuts off your hand. I get it. Okay.
So will you hide a stowaway to help out the resistance? Will you prove your mettle to join an elite smuggling ring? I don't know. It's unexpected. They got bridge training and a special atrium entertainment, and that's for the day. Now, you have to get up hella early for this, because breakfast the next day, 7 to 8 a.m. Then they ship you off to Batuu, and then you get to ride. They actually schedule out the rides, so I'm curious how this is going to work. Because from 8:45 to 9:30 is Rise of the Resistance, and then another story moment. Will you broker a deal for a heist? Will you arrange to steal a ship? I don't know, but it only lasts 20 minutes, from 9:30 to 9:50.
And isn't it, isn't like that, like so many things, there's this terrific anticipation and it's over in less than 20 minutes.
I'm trying to see. So then they got a half hour allotted for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and then lunch at Docking Bay 7. So you're paying all this money, and I'll tell you what's not here. There's no Ogus Cantina.
Well, that's just wrong.
But you have cocktails at the Sublight Lounge, I guess, and taste around the
yeah. I
Galaxy
mean,
dinner.
you can have a cocktail at the bar and lounge in your confined space.
The food.
See, that still bothers me, and I realize you're paying for this totally immersive thing, but there would be a point where if I could not go outside, that would bother me at some point.
Like, I've been recording this in a closet for like an hour, and I'm like craving the sun. I don't know. I have a poster of some old celebrity. I'm gonna tunnel out of here into my neighbor's house, but. And then they have
and just stand in the rain. Okay.
One of their featured food items, like number one, right on the page, they have dyed blue shrimp. It's regular shrimp, and they dyed it blue.
Well, it better be dyed.
Jeez.
I don't want it to be alive.
I don't know, man. It just, I guess, I mean, am I speaking partly of jealousy that I'm never going to do this?
I
Probably.
know. Yeah. And
But part of me also was
there's
like,
that
no.
part of me that thought if money was no object, yeah, I'd probably do it. But there's aspects of it that just annoy me.
It rubs me the wrong way. And then I'm like, so part of me is like, if I won the lottery, I would make a point to be like, you know what, Disney? No, I'm still not doing it because it's ridiculous. And I would pull like I'd pull a Christian Bale and Batman. I would just show up. I'm buying this hotel.
Exactly.
And I'd swim in the fountain.
Yes. Oh my God.
So yeah, I don't even know when that opens. It's just ridiculous. It's so.
It's coming soon. I have one more thing to throw in too. And we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and it popped up in my news feed like I don't know, like a week or so back. We were talking about movies made based on rides, and we were talking about Haunted Mansion. And back in the day, Guillermo del Toro was supposed to be attached to it. Well, that has not happened, but now, supposedly, Disney is talking with Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield to be in the new Haunted Mansion movie.
I mean, I have like no opinions on this. Ever since it wasn't, and I feel bad. It's nothing against them. I like both of them, but the Guillermo del Toro thing, now that he's not doing it, and now that it seems like they're going more for a comedy feel, I don't know.
But will they get Eddie Murphy? There you go.
And that will do it for this episode of the Mouse Castle Lounge. Don't forget to visit us at themousecastle.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Mouse Castle, and on Twitter at Mouse Castle Show.
And if you want to get more up close and personal, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Vegas Voice Actor. And you just got a new Twitter handle. I mean, people are following you already. Before they're still following you, but you changed your name.
Yeah, so you can now find me at here at Epcot. As in,
it's easy to remember.
Yeah, as in here at Epcot, we're learning to reduce the need for pesticides by using natural predators like ladybugs and wasps to control pests. It's from Living with the Land. I love it.
Wow.
So yes, follow me at here at Epcot.
And it will still say the Hista Stan account.
Yeah,
though,
for
right?
now for now I'm still the Honey I Shrunk the Audience Stan account. I still do not want to get rid of Rick Moranis' wonderful face as my profile picture.
Okay. Anyway, if you'd would be so kind to, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on YouTube. We're on YouTube too.
Apparently, yes.
Yes, we are.
My friend Ron was watching us on YouTube.
I know. I was stunned. He's like one of the 3 people that actually catches our episodes on YouTube.
He's the only person I know that would choose to have me in his living room.
I am honored.
Yes.
Yes. And anyway, yeah, you can find us wherever, if there's a podcast, look for the Mouse Castle Lounge, you'll find us. And with that, we will catch you next time in the Mouse Castle Lounge.
See ya.